Welcome to 254Promo. This is a show we are discussing Kenya's political future as young Kenyans. We believe as young Kenyans we have a responsibility for our country, and we'll do everything it takes to fulfill that responsibility and obligation of ensuring we vote for the right leaders. Today, my guest is Abdul Aziz Mohammed from Kamukunji. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Welcome, Mr. Wilson.
I'm so glad you came to the show to come and share with us the issues affecting young Kenyans and the solutions that we have to do so that we can get rid of those problems. As a young Kenyan, what are the problems facing young Kenyans?
The problems are many and bulky if we talk about the Kenyan youth.
Yeah.
Because the major one, which is a bait to all the politicians in Kenya or anyone who is aspiring to lead this country, is that unemployment, which is very big in Kenya, and it affects all across the country, in the rural and in the urban areas. So one of them is unemployment, there is no job, and then the other one is that there is no education, because now in the urban center like Kamukunji or in Nairobi, things are hard. If a person goes beyond primary or secondary school, secondary is more harder when people hustle on bringing on the kid to a higher level. Then when you come to the university or to the colleges, the parents cannot pay. That's why you find security issues in Kenya or in Nairobi is very rampant. Those are the big issues that I can see that are affecting the youth in Kenya.
Unemployment is a very big issue.
It is a very big issue, yeah.
And it's affecting all of us as young people.
It's all affecting all of us across the country.
And it's leading to, you said it's leading to some of the issues like insecurity,
yeah,
crime, all those things.
Yeah.
So how do you think we can address the problem of unemployment in Kenya?
I think the problem lies with first the stakeholders. Maybe parents, sometimes parents can be poor, but the stakeholders whom we have given the mantle to lead the country are the ones to address certain issues that are affecting the people, because they are the leaders. They are the ones whom we elected. If I'm not the person who elected him, maybe my mother or my grandfather have elected them to reach where they are. We are the one who gave them that name honorable, that Mheshimiwa tag. It's not him who gave himself. We're the one who took him there. So they are the ones to address. Maybe the MPs whom we have taken them to the parliament have to address some issues and take it to the higher level of the government organ so that they can be addressed, like the education kind of a thing. There is this tag of people paying a lot of money. My brother, one mother, was also talking about that people going to Uganda for subsidized education. Why not in Kenya? Why not our public universities? Why not these private universities do the same kind of a thing? Because we have the better universities in Africa. Why is the government not intervening to subsidize that the public universities' money or the private? I think people are sleeping on us to address such kind of an issue. And then there is the C+ tag, where a person, like arts courses, I don't think maybe why I should be allowed to go for a C+, maybe doing art thing. Why not C stand? For a person to go for a bachelor's degree and then beyond. Maybe I scored C stand and somebody who had B+, I'm better than him potentially and mentally. Why don't we not look at beyond those colonial tags, like if you don't reach this, then you will fail. That is what fails our youth all over. But if we are allowed to move on, or maybe move on and do something, then we could have had more potential youth in Kenya than any other country in the whole region of Eastern Africa, or the whole Africa, I could have said.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you agree with me, the problem of unemployment has been, it's majorly fueled by mismanagement and bad leadership in Kenya.
Yeah.
Because I believe if we had good leadership, we could have functional businesses, we could have many businesses set up in Kenya, we could have many industries, we could have, as a country develops, more opportunities also develop with the same system. So, as you're saying, we need good leadership in our country so that the unemployment problem can go.
Yeah, good leadership that minds the people that who elected them, that minds the youth. I know whenever we are in electioneering year, all the leaders, I can say, all the leaders across all sections, from the county representatives, the councillors so-called, start on campaigning platform of creation of jobs for the youth, and that is a bait that they used to tease the people that if I be elected, I will do this. Nothing happens, like kind of a thing. And the government puts on some programs to help the youth. But are we really, sincerely speaking, from the bottom of my heart, I know the youth fund, maybe it goes to, it's misappropriated by the same officials that are working for the government, and no one follows them, and it goes to the wrong people. Hopefully, I know the youth fund goes to some people even who are not youth. That's what I know. And with the youth, the genuine youth that apply through the best channel are, given hitches, hard things. And even if they go through, then there is that hurdle of corruption that you have to pay something for you to get this. You have to do this for you to, I think really the government should have been looking on such issues. And I know I'm really disappointed with the current leadership of our country. I'm very disappointed with them. They don't address such kind of an issue. They know, and I know everybody is abetting corruption in this government or in this politicians that we have now. Whenever they come, they say such a thing is existing, and if it's existing, why are you not doing anything about it? You could have addressed it when you were in the parliament. You could have addressed it into the rightful channel. We could have even advised us, come back to the people, tell us this and this is going on. We should demonstrate about this. And tell me, Tuju was talking about some times back about the youth, and these people are living in palatial homes. I think if Kenya continues like this, then I'm sure they will not be sleeping in those palatial homes. They should be prepared. Something bad will happen to them.
Something will happen.
Youth might revolt against them. Crime might be very big. They have to address the issues as per required. Now we have seen an example. There is the Middle East revolution, which have been started by youth. I think it started from Africa again. Tunisia was started by a youthful university graduate. How many university graduates do you have in Kenya? And unaccounted for. We cannot even account for. Then, if they continue like this, sincerely speaking, Wilson, I'm telling you, things will be wrong. They should watch out their steps, these politicians, and they should come up with a tangible kind of issues that can address the problems that are affecting the youth, regardless of the tribal tax that they use. Now, I think we will be going out of the box when we get an initiative like the 254Promo that you're doing, might sensitize the youth, and we might understand more. We need enlightenment. When we go to the Ushagos and go back to our people and then talk to them and sensitize on what to do and what our rights are, then the issue of the 200 bob vote will going to end in the near future.
You've heard politicians. There's a warning that have been sounded by young Kenyans, that if you continue in the way you're behaving, something will happen, and you won't be happy of what will happen. That's a message young Kenyans are saying. They are tired of bad leadership. They are tired of bad governance. They want to be led by people who understand their needs and people who are ready to solve their problems. So what other issues do we have?
Issues are very many. I think if we empower youth in trainings, like we give them technical trainings, if it does not mean that I fail in KCPE or KCSE, then that's the end of my life. I might be potential in some other parts of
sports.
I might be talented sportsman. I might be talented runner. I might be I can go to a mechanic and then do kind of a technical kind of a thing. I can go and become one of the best technicians in the world who makes computers. Why not only people should be given the tag of that you failed and that's the end of you? I think the politicians or the stakeholders in this matter should come up with trainings program that certain programs should be given to certain youth. The youth who are just the slums should be taken to maybe driving schools. They should be taught how to drive. Some of them should be taught mechanic, and then when they complete such courses, they should be given a small amount to start up, or maybe a small garage, or maybe when a certain group of youth gets trained on how to drive cars, then they should be go as a group, register the group. The youth fund, which is ours actually, the money belongs to us. I'm taxing in whichever way that you want. If I go and buy a Brookside, that Brookside have been taxed already. I'm paying the tax. Pay me the money, give me the money. Let's buy a car. then we do the business, do something good for the community and ourselves, then I think that one, if it perpetuates and then it continues and then it gets branches, I think no one will lead anyone in Kenya. Youth will be well versed, and then that's when that we cannot be given 200 shillings for a vote.
Yeah.
You know, we know who to vote for.
Yeah.
Actually, I could have encouraged the politicians themselves to do such kind of a project for our own money, the CDF, the youth fund, and then these issues of the youth fund should go beyond, the youth should be told on how to utilize and how to apply, and then it should be transparent, my brother. If that will not happen, then it will be dangerous for them.
And what should we as young people, because we have a responsibility for this country. In any case, most of those bad politicians, we are the ones who are responsible in sending them to Bunge. And you know, when someone comes and bribes you with 200, someone is campaigning to be an MP, he uses 50 million to campaign so that he becomes an MP. The first thing he'll do when he goes back is to recover his money. That's why most of them are very corrupt, because the system is for enriching. That's how the system has been created since 1963. So what can we as young people do to change that model, so that the next person we send to Bunge is the right person?
And thank God now that the IIBC, I was just listening the other day that the IIBC is bringing on a legislation, maybe I think, that campaign money will be regulated. You know, a certain candidate has to use a certain amount.
Yeah.
But now we know all the MPs are now in the parliament.
Yeah.
We took them to the parliament. They promised us. Yeah. They wrote a nice manifestos written by specialists or PR officials who are of high caliber, political commentators who are paid highly by these big tycoon politicians who work up on things that can change our mind, and all in all it goes and goes and goes and nothing comes up. Yeah. This is the thing. We have the sieve now. We have the sieve. They promise us something, we gauge them. From A to B, C, D. We have the manifestos in our homes, people campaigned. Then how many pieces in, how many numbers in his manifesto did he got right? How much did he fail? And then he should come up and tell us why he failed on those issues. If we know that he failed on all his manifesto and he never did, then I don't know why he should come back and campaign and waste his money. And if he comes and telling the youth to use his money to build the other one who is not giving out anything but has an issue-based campaign, and who is going to tell us, I'm doing this and this, and then we should look back his track record. Even as at the family level is what we have to supposed to look. A candidate who just comes and then at his back at yard, at his family home, he is a very bad person who beats his wife, who does not take care about his relatives or maybe his family, then that one cannot make a good leader. We should look back at their families again. That one should not be another gauge that we could have looked if we are the youth of Kenya. Yeah.
So we have to look at their backgrounds.
Background, yeah.
From family to their social life, to their business life.
To their business life,
if they've been working, we have to check how they've been working, what they've been doing. We have to do all those things. But we as young Kenyans, not all of us are informed. That's why it's very possible for the politicians to manipulate most of those who are not informed, because they can go give them 100 or even lie to them, propaganda. You know, they have employed very good propaganda. They have a very good propaganda machinery. So how can we protect our other young Kenyans, or how can we involve them in this debate so that we make sure they're going to make the right decisions?
I think the Kenyan youth, Wilson, I'm telling you, things can start from you. A decision that maybe an opinion, a good opinion that have been brought by you, Wilson, can change that. If you and me and the rest of the youth come up, non-political youth that advocates for the right of the whole people of the region, because as a youth you have to advocate for the youth. But my mother, my sister, and my kids, or maybe some of us have kids, my older grandmother, father or mother who is at home, we should stand up as a Kenyan youth, advocate for the best candidates that we want, then go around with buses. I think maybe no, we will not miss food. I'm sure Kenyans are very welcoming. We can go around to the whole counties, from county to county, putting tents there outside on the grounds, talking to our fellow people, going to the mashinani, taking tea with the people, and then telling them what to do. I think we can achieve something big.
there's this aloofness with politics, especially the young people. When you talk to young people, ukiongelesha kijana, umuulize kitu, anakuambia wachana na siasa. Siasa ni ya mabuda, siasa ni ya wazee. And I think the way we have shunned politics have contributed highly to the problems we are having. So I think I want to take it, us as young Kenyans, we have to be political in our minds. We have to understand how politics is run, because politics affect every basic aspect of your life. Peace, stability, business in our country, everything. If the politics is bad, everything will go bad. So as young Kenyans, what would you tell young Kenyans to do on this issue?
I think leadership is an inborn thing. It's not a kind of a thing that is taught in the schools, or maybe something. You can see most of our leaders were in the first place uneducated. The highest level, I think, maybe can be a certificate.
Yeah.
I'm telling my fellow youth to come up and then start going for a leadership seat. This is the way that you can change. We can change from the status quo that we are in. I'm telling my fellow youth to go for the county representation, go for a county rep, go for the youth representatives. That is the way that we can come up. If we happen to see one of our own youth who is capable and is contesting on a seat, we should come out in big numbers, sell his ideas to the people. The person that we can believe, we can ascend one of our own youth to a higher level, and into this decision-making organs of the country. I'm sure if we take maybe like 50 or to 60 youth into the parliament, then that will be okay.
I think 60 is a low number. We have over 300 MPs. We should have more than half.
Due to the gender balance and those issues. Yeah. And you know, it's the beginning now. You know, money works, and we are understaffed. Our pockets a bit low. I know.
No, but I'm saying, what I'm saying is, for young people, go for those seats. Even if to changa like 100, 200, 50.
The list that we can take, the list that we can think of, should be 50.
Me, I want 150.
Yeah, it's good.
You know, both gender, you can have men and women. So long as they are young, we don't mind. We want people who will advance our agenda in that bunge.
Yeah.
It's very possible. If we want to do, we can do it.
And then there's the cabinet secretaries. Then we even want the government that's coming, the youth minister or the youth and sports minister, such a kind of a thing, should be a young tack.
We don't want an old mzee.
We don't want an old mzee
who doesn't understand
who doesn't
sports or anything.
Sport or anything.
He's just there for policy.
So we should even polish ourselves. We have youth who have masters in every field, but the tag of 5 years experience, at that time experience all over in the country. We should shun that and then produce and think of 1 or 2, 3 cabinet ministers who will going to go for the vetting and interview. I know our people are not corrupt, but that's the way that I could have encouraged my fellow youth in Kenya to go about it, and we should think about it and then come to a convention that has no party, but the party should be Kenya. Kenyan youth should be the tag that we're going to use, not so-and-so youth wing or something. Kenya Youth Network should be the thing, I think.
You told me you originally came from Garissa. In Garissa, what are the issues there, and how like in terms, I'm asking a question like we have right now we have a ministry of semi-arid and arid areas. We have a lot of senior government officials coming from those regions of the northeastern. Are they doing enough? And if they're not doing enough, what should be done to correct that? Because I believe that area to me has potential. Even farming can be happening in northeastern. All these things, like, what do you think?
I think the problem in northeastern province is like the politics of northeastern province seems to be controlled by tycoons and tribal elders who will, at the end of the day, sway the votes to whoever candidate that they want. But now the youth are tired. Our members of parliament from northeastern province actually were not performing at all since 1963. I know people complain about marginalization, but are we marginalized? I think northeastern province are marginalized because of themselves. Because we brought the people some people who are not qualified to become MPs or who was not supposed to represent us in the August House. Some of them even cannot interpret legislation. Some of them skip important sessions of the parliament in Nairobi. They just maneuver around. Some of them are in tribal meetings. Some of them are in the era of divide and rule of the kind of a thing. Thank God now we have aspirants. Along all the 3 counties. In Garissa County, I have my Garissa Township Member of Parliament. He's a youth. He was my classmate. I really want him to become the MP. All the youth should rally around him.
Because he's your friend or because he has issues?
No, he has issues. He's a youth. He starved all the way. He went even to Kenyatta University. He's educated. He can take everything. He can change the situation of the youth. I know the current MPs are tired and old people. I think the northeastern youth should now stand up for their rights. Yeah, for their rights. They should stand up for their rights and for the rights of their mothers, their sisters, and their brothers, and their grandfathers and grandmothers. That is what I think so. And northeastern should change now.
It should change.
It's now or no way. Yeah.
I'll ask you a very pertinent issue of security issue. You know, right now the KDF, they are in Somali. There's this Al-Shabaab thing they're fighting, and we're having that issue of young Kenyans being recruited to go and fight as Al-Shabaab. As a young Kenyan, what would you tell? Because I believe it's a challenge, it's a very big challenge. We have had guys who have been recruited there in Isili, in Majengo, in where young guys, and then they go there. What is your opinion on that issue?
I think Kenya the government of Kenya has the sole responsibility to look into those issues and the way those youth are recruited or the way they are being taken to Al-Shabaab. The biggest thing comes back to the unemployment issue. I don't know why KDF is not employing. I don't know why military kind of a thing is a kind of exercise and discipline. I don't know why some other people who are wealthy pocketed are selected whenever people go for for selection in the army recruitment. Now I know that there is a recruitment that we're going to take up in the whole country. I'm sure, I'm telling you truly, that whoever has money will going to win to be chosen as a KDF. I don't know why the government is not taking an initiative to go around or maybe to the slums and take out potential youth who can fit that figure, who can become very good people and people who can guide our security. Why don't you go directly to the people? Some of them have no IDs, but there are so many good number of them who have IDs. Probably they have the secondary, they have the primary certificate. Why should you give them conditions of getting secondary education they don't have, and they form the larger number in that? Why don't you recruit them? We can use them. Now our Kenyan Defense Forces are fighting in Somalia. We are told maybe like 6,000. Why don't you employ? We have 10,000 youth. Why don't we train them? Why don't we use them as a defense for our country? I don't know why the government or the country is not taking that initiative further. We want the Kenyan youth to be taken as security forces. They have the potential, they have the figure. And Al-Shabaab is just recruiting whoever they want. And so long it's a battleground, it will serve the purpose. Why not train the one who can speak? I think it's proper discipline and a bit of speaking. But
I also think like we as young people, we have to, I know there are a lot of problems. Also, I think you have to make a choice. Because some of these measures we are joining or sects or whatever you are joining, they are short-lived. You'll go there, then after 1 year you're dead, or even after some few months. So what can you tell young Kenyans? Because I know there's this stereotype. When someone sees a Somali, they say, oh, that's Al-Shabaab. And it's very unfortunate because I believe Somali are Kenyans. We have Kenyans we have Somali who are Kenyans. It's only like Somali is a community, just like Luo, Kikuyu, and that's how people should see it. That stereotype, how do you think it can be finished?
I think, that stereotype that is there, it's only with some people, I think. Some part of the community. I know most of the Kenyans will not take Somali as an Al-Shabaab. There is that stereotype that people might see you as an Al-Shabaab or the way you look, and if you're a Somali. It happens, some people are indisciplined and they may say, oh, but majority of the Kenyans, thank God, they all understand the situation and the way it is, and how sensitive it is for you to segregate someone, tell him that you are this and this. I think Kenyans should know that we are all equal, and Al-Shabaab comes from any community in Kenya. I think
true.
People thought of that Somalis are the only Al-Shabaab, are the people who make up the Al-Shabaab forces. But now, take an example, my own constituency, Kamkunji, we have some people. One of the prominent leaders of Al-Shabaab who leads the migrant fighters of the Al-Shabaab is from Majengo. And he's a leader, he's known there. He's not Somali. Should you say that he's this and this? No way. So El-Gifa Bwire was convicted and now he's in the cells, I think. Was an Al-Shabaab operative in Kenya. Was he Somali?
No,
he was far away from Western or maybe Nyanza somewhere there. So now Al-Shabaab can be anyone else across the country. So the issue of Somali stereotyping is never there, and we are known that to be law-abiding citizens, one of the best people to have integrity in terms of governance in the whole country. And I appreciate my fellow Somali community of the northeastern province.
And even like in business, you are doing it big.
We are doing good business.
We appreciate the
we are hard workers. That's the encouragement we are getting from the rest of the Kenyans. Where now we even brought back life to the Kenyan business, where people thought of that it's only Indians who can do things. But now we have even extended the business not only to the Somali community. Now that Somali business community are now training the other Kenyans on ways to get import things. And that is a very good idea. Now, a cost like this one could have costed you like 30 to 45,000 in town, but when you go to Slee, I'm sure you'll get it with only 2,500.
True.
A shite like yours goes for 2,500, but in Slee it might go for 250. So that is how it is. We should all work hard, and at least we know that business is really employing so many youth, and then our politicians should make use of those business people on how to employ the youth to do such kind of a thing.
The issue of religious tolerance, like Christians and Muslims, is very important. For us young people, it doesn't affect us very much, but I think there's some section of people who are affected by it. How should we handle that? Because as a country, we have to have that. We have to correlate. We have to coexist with one another.
You know, thank God now Kenya, there is no religious tension in Kenya, actually, the way I see. No problem. There is no problem with Muslims, the Kenyan Muslims and the other Christian maybe, or any other faith. There are some people who believe in some other faiths in Kenya. It's not only Christian or Muslim. And I know that people interlive with each other. I know at my own home, at my own Ushago here in Garissa, the church which was bombed the other week was just some meters away from our house. I used to see that church long ago. But you know, our leaders should shun religious tension issues whenever they are speaking such a kind of a thing. And I also heard that the people who bombed that church were caught. Some of them were the other part of Kenya, the other provinces of Kenya. They were used. We know our country now is in battleground with Al-Shabaab. So anyone can be infiltrate our porous borders and can attack anyone. And then the issue of bombing of those things, it happens all over in northeastern province every day. Wajir, Garissa, people die, and we are not talking about.
What should the security apparatus do to finish that menace?
The failure of our security department is the one that is really giving leeways to those people who want to break law. I think security should be tightened along the border places like northeastern province and then Garissa, then Wajir. So security should be tightened along there because that is the gateway of the whole country. And then to the other side of Ethiopia where it's also porous, people might bring in guns and hand grenades. I heard last week there was two people of Kenyan, maybe from, they had some Christian names even, but they were found carrying grenades and those things. So such a person, they were targeting. I was watching the Citizen TV. They were targeting a church in Umoja in Kamkunji. How will you take that if a church is bombed through those people? And then will you say that a Muslim bombed those churches? No, that's not the issue in Kenya. There is no even there is no problem between Kenyan Christian and Kenyan Muslims. I know Muslims come across from all countries. One of the freedom human rights fighters of the Muslim human right is Alamin Kimathi. He is from Eastern or maybe Central, Mount Kenya region, I know. The Jamia Mosque committee and the Jamia Mosque founders are originally from Central province. and they're the pioneers of the Islamic religion in Kenya. Go to Western province, we have so many sheikhs from Western. We should not say that, you know, certain community are tagged as Muslims. Wilson, you yourself, you can become a Muslim.
True.
So then can we say that you become a Muslim so you belong to this?
No.
So we have so many, we have Christians, Somalis. Maybe I know a relative of mine who is a big bishop. One of my uncles also lives in Meru. He leads a church there. So should I say that he is my uncle? He should not be a Christian. No, he's a church elder. He's a priest, I think. Maybe he preaches Christianity there. He hails from Garissa. He's my uncle. So that issue is never there in Kenya.
But security should be tightened. Do you agree?
Security is the bigger thing that should be tightened.
These corruption, police reforms, we need them. Like we needed them like yesterday.
Those ones should be done. I think. I don't know why the government of Kenya now is sleeping on that. We think we should get credible police officers who can work, and then the corrupt officers should be rooted out from this service that they are doing now. I think we want new people. We don't want political appointees on security level.
We need people who are credible.
We need people who are
not
credible.
Political appointees at all.
Not political appointees, because the one who appointed them is the one that they're going to serve. So we want a moderate, balanced person who believes nothing but Kenya.
Nothing but Kenya. What's your message to young Kenyans? What should we do come the next elections? Tell them.
Kenyan youth, we should stand up as one. We should judge the candidates that are on the ballot on their credibility, integrity, and accountability, and even watch the way they were behaving. If he was a politician who was in the system, my brother, my sister, back wherever you're watching or wherever you are, if you're a Kenyan youth, look at him. How was he behaving in the last 5 years in the government? If he was a top government official, how was he managing our funds there? I'm telling you, please, if he misconduct or if he did some sort of a kind of a thing, then that one, even if it's a small word that he slipped from his mouth, then we should just tell him, we are sorry. We're sorry, my brother. We should take their money, but take the one who talks about issues, not about the tribal. We should not segregate people from wherever they hail from or whichever religion they are, but we should look at their track record. My friend, kama yeye ameiba siku moja, he should never come back. He should never. Even if kama brother yake ameiba, ama mtu wake mwingine ametajwa katika scandal fulani, or any graft case, or even his friend or close associate, I'm telling you, we should leave them and tell them we are very sorry. That's my word.
You've heard it, young Kenyans. It's our time. We have to do it right. Abdul Aziz Mohammed has